Joining us now, NBC News national political correspondent Steve Kornacki. All right, Steve, 1 week out now. What is the state of play nationally?
Yeah, here we go. 1 week to go, and President Trump is trying to play defense right now. This is the map that made him president 4 years ago. He got 306 electoral votes. The question here is, can the president hang on to enough of the states that he won in 2016 to stay at or above 270? Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Florida, North Carolina, Georgia, Ohio. These are all states that Donald Trump won in 2016. They're all states that are competitive. In many cases, he's trailing by a few points in. He doesn't have to win all of them, but he's got to win most of these. So he's playing defense here and trying to hang on to just enough electoral votes.
Steve, as you know, Michigan and Kent County in particular are battlegrounds. What are the polls saying now about the race here? Has there been any movement, or is it kind of baked in?
Yeah, let's take a look here. Michigan, obviously one of those critical states. Here's what the polling tells us in Michigan. This is the average of every poll out there right now. Look at that. Biden on average leading by 9 points in Michigan. And all those states we were just looking at right there, all of the battleground states, this is the biggest margin that Joe Biden has in any of them. Michigan is the state that the Biden folks feel the best about of all those battleground states, and Michigan is the state that the Trump folks, I think, are most nervous about. So, of course, 4 years ago, everything broke Donald Trump's way. He was able to pick off Michigan, but he comes into this final week down there. A reminder, I don't think anybody in Michigan needs the reminder, a fraction of a point, barely 10,000 votes. 1988 had been the last time the state went for a Republican. It really was sort of a perfect storm there for Trump. He's going to need another one if he pulls out Michigan again this time.
And Steve, obviously your specialty is gaming out these different scenarios. And when we're talking about the Electoral College map, there are certain paths of victory for Trump and Biden, but not these candidates are not equal, I guess, in the paths that they have to the White House, correct?
Yeah, I think at this point it's just the reality. If the polling shows Joe Biden ahead nationally, and if the polling shows him ahead in most of these swing states to different degrees, it is a question of Biden has a lot of potential paths, not definite, but potential. And for Trump, it's narrower. I'll give you an example. We talk about Michigan. If Biden does succeed in flipping Michigan, if those polls are right, we're just using what Trump got in 2016. If he lost Michigan from that, he'd be down to 290. You know, if he lost Wisconsin, he'd be down to 280. And if he lost Pennsylvania, he'd be under 270. Biden would actually get the Electoral College at that point. Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania. Those are the three states Trump flipped in 2016 where the polling is the worst for Trump and the best for Biden right now. And if Biden just flips those three states, that might be all he needs to become the next president.
All right. Again, 1 week out, and the anticipation obviously building. Steve Kornacki with us from NBC News. Steve, thanks for your time tonight.